But the important thing there, it's still a freehold. You still own the whole
I find that funny though, because is it really? I mean, is a freehold really a freehold? Because you have to pay property taxes until you die. Like, is anything freehold? Nothing's freehold. Everything's condo to a degree. It's just who are you paying to?
Yeah, I mean, that's going deep, man. Holy shit.
Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 336 of the Real Estate Podcast. Today, Ariel and I are talking all things condo fees. Why you shouldn't let them stop you from buying a property. Don't be afraid of them. But what you should make sure you're aware of. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Real Estate Podcast, your go-to source for raw, unfiltered stories and expert tips. Whether you're a buyer, seller, tenant, landlord, or realtor, join us as we dive into the world of real estate.
Unfiltered and expert tips. See, that's what we have to live up to that. Making sure that we do.
So I should swear more is what you're saying.
A combination of that and ensuring our tips are of great value, which I believe we do a pretty good job at.
That's pretty well all we do.
I know. I'm just saying I'm very critical of everything.
You know, I
personally.
really wish you would get Apple News. Like, I'm just looking back at all my saved stories. There's so much, much good stuff.
I signed up for a news publication that it was because it was $1 a month. So I'm like, sure, I'll sign up for that. And then it switched to $15 like 6 months later. So I go to cancel it this morning, and they're so annoying. You have to call them to cancel.
What? Who does that?
It's ridiculous. But I remember that
What
happened.
what was it for?
It's called the Epoch Times. It's like a very conservative publication, but I'm just not really interested in it anymore. And I went to cancel, and they don't make it easy, which obviously they do that intentionally. But I think that I had the same thing with the Toronto Star years ago.
See?
I can't see it from here.
Well,
my eyes are getting bad.
It is an option.
Through what?
Apple News.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So.
But that's like an add-on?
No.
It's just included?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the point of Apple News.
Interesting.
Yeah. I've got some stuff that I used to like. Okay, so I have money.ca, McLean's, Forbes,
Yeah.
Car and Driver.
Good publications.
National Post, National Geographic.
You know, a lot of the stuff you can actually get through the library.
Yeah, I know.
But it's usually like not current. It might be
Canadian
like one or
Press,
two
Financial Post, Wall Street
behind.
Journal, Men's Health, Toronto Sun, Globe and Mail, Toronto Star, Toronto Life, House Beautiful, House and Home.
So why would anyone subscribe
GQ.
to one individual?
Consumer Reports, Boating Magazine, Food Network Magazine, Cottage Life.
Okay, I get it. Lots of publications.
U.S. Politics, Sportsnet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would anybody subscribe direct?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wonder what the difference is.
I don't know.
Don't know. Maybe they don't know any better.
I don't know. Although I went to the Cottage Life show.
Yes.
Which is the same thing every year, and they have it twice a year in the fall and in the spring.
One's better than the other, though. One's bigger, right? One's a different location.
I would say they're no, same.
Oh,
same
I thought
show.
one was at the Enercare building.
Oh, you're thinking of the home show.
Yeah, but I thought they had one there too. Maybe not. Anyways.
No. The one at the International Center is huge.
Okay.
Especially the spring one. Lots to do, lots to see, lots to buy. But they give you the physical Cottage Life magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't had a magazine now in years because I subscribe to Apple News, and I read the magazines on my iPad.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the physical magazine, and I'm like, wow, I miss having that.
I've got one. I got Men's Health at home. Alicia got it for me for Christmas. I haven't opened it yet. It's on my bedside table.
It's like back in my house in Oakville.
Yeah.
So this is now 20 years ago. So 2005, 2006. When I moved in there, I actually subscribed to get the newspaper on the weekends.
Okay.
Because I loved the Saturday Star and the Sunday Sun.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I subscribed to. And I miss sitting down with my coffee in the morning and
it's different having something
holding
to flip
that paper
through.
and listening to the paper
Yeah.
flipping. Yeah, I don't know. Now I feel like I'm old.
Some really loud noise.
So we were going to talk a little, not a huge discussion, but talking about townhouses.
Yeah. Well, I think it's something, there's two components of it, I suppose. One is, so this is regarding condo townhouses or common element townhouses. A lot of them, I find two things. One, sometimes people don't make it explicitly clear if there's a fee. And then a lot of people don't know if or what it covers. And then a lot of agents, when they're submitting offers, they don't use the right paperwork.
Right. So just to explain it to everybody, what Adrian's talking about is potentially a freehold townhome that has fees attached to it, a monthly fee. And those fees are generally for common element areas. So parking, the driveways, maybe there's a little parquet or a maintained
A visitor
strip
parking,
of grass,
some sort of, trail of some sort.
trail of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you see those, some of them you can't fence in completely, so it's open to that trail or whatever.
I find like a lot of the newer ones,
Garbage and snow removal.
yeah, a lot of the newer ones that we are, are exposed to are less obvious than older townhouses. So older townhouse complexes where you have a condo fee, they were just that, they were complex. It's like they were kind of, you'd have one driveway into this one area where there was one way in, one way out, and you had all these townhouses that looked identical in there. And it was obvious they're townhouses. Now, I'd say it's not always the case. There's a lot of, in Halton, there's a lot of 3-story townhomes. So they're back-to-back, 3 stories. And they're, one area in town, they may be a condo fee attached to it. And then another area in town, at first glance, it may look identical and there may not be.
Right. Well, that even can be said for 2-story towns.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there's some where I'm surprised. Like we just sold a house on Broussard Circle, and I feel like that feels like it should have a fee, right? Because it's very private.
Cul-de-sac. Yeah,
very private. The streets almost feel narrower than usual, and I'm surprised they don't need private garbage pickup and stuff like that. But it's not. It's freehold.
Well, it's still a normal street.
Yeah, it feels tighter though.
The one, not Broussard, but the other street, Onley.
Yeah.
That's just a laneway because it's the
rear lane
rear lane townhomes where the garages are at the back of the house and it's garage facing garage.
Yeah.
And just the driveway or the street, quote unquote, in between.
Mm-hmm.
I like that street, that little cul-de-sac, though. We obviously owned a home in that.
Yeah, it's a nice spot.
Yeah, got the park right there. You can.
What considerations do you think a buyer should have for something like this? Because I know that some people are really deterred by condo fees.
It's a great question. So, first of all, don't be deterred by them because it might be your best option.
Maybe your only option.
Maybe the best option to negotiate on, whatever. Maybe you like the home. Maybe you like the neighborhood, the street, whatever. You just have to assume that they're going to go up every year. Inflation, 3 to 5%. So if it's $100 fee, next year it's probably going to be $105. The following year it's going to be $112, whatever. But do the math as to what that would equate to in paying a mortgage.
Right.
So $100 a month might equate to a $25,000.
I just did the math at 375. It's 20.
Right. I said 25.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to say something.
Okay. So $100 a month, 20, 25, whatever.
Yeah.
What can you buy if you were to increase the price for 20 to 25 grand, because your out of pocket monthly expense would be the same?
Yes. But there could also be the differentiating factor of you may not qualify for that extra 20 grand.
Yeah.
Right? But the bank will take into consideration that there's a condo fee, but it's not quite the same calculation. So it may be the only way to get into that style of home.
That might be a good question for one of our mortgage brokers, because when they do that calculation, are they assuming that fee has a component of utilities included, like in a normal condo?
I think from discussions I've had in the past, I believe it depends on, first of all, on the financial institution, but usually they don't account for 100% of the fee in their equation.
Right.
So maybe only half of it. So I imagine it would be the same across the board with all condos, not just, whether it's a common element condominium or a traditional condo.
Right. So those are on, most of those are on what's called a parcel of tied land. So it's on a piece of land that they, kind of like what you said, right? Like you expect it to be a cul-de-sac of some kind, a little street that all of the places look the same, yada, yada, yada. But the important thing there, it's still a freehold. Mm-hmm. So you still own the whole
I find
place.
That funny though, because is it really? I mean, is a freehold really a freehold? Because you have to pay property taxes until you die. Like, is anything freehold? Nothing's freehold. Everything's condo to a degree. It's just who are you paying to?
Yeah, I mean, that's going deep, man. Holy
well, I
shit.
think I was watching the governor. What's the governor of Florida? Santos, whatever. He was talking about getting rid of. He was having this discussion, saying we're going to get rid of
HOA
property
fees.
tax. No, property taxes, because we want people to actually own their homes. Because I think the problem is people start, you buy your first house. A lot of people in this situation now, they buy their first house when they're in their 20s, and now they're 80. And the house has gone from $50,000 to $2.5 million, whatever it is, and they can't afford to live there anymore because they've been priced out of the market because the property taxes have gone up so much.
If you're so old that your house went from 50 grand to 2.5 million, you don't have to worry about it much longer.
Well, you do. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, well, hopefully they can live out their remaining days there.
How else are you going to pay for roads, schools?
Other means. There's other means.
Well, Florida's a no state tax.
Now there's no income tax and no. Do they have sales tax?
No
they
tax
have sales
state.
tax.
No tax state. Yes.
Anyways, I don't know. Are there other avenues to get it? It's very complex, but it's an interesting idea.
Well, and now I mentioned it while we were off air, a comment from one of the mortgage brokers we know, from Cameron, in the discussion in a previous podcast you and I had about
people flocking,
the snowbirds
or flying north.
Flying north.
Yeah.
They're bailing on Florida, selling their properties down there.
Yeah.
And he brought up a good point. He said, yeah, it is a little bit to do with Trump and everything that's going on, the uncertainty of everything, but it's also the currency exchange.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
That a lot of them, to your point, imagine tacking on 40%.
Yeah,
to your HOAs and your taxes. So that's why there's a ton of people, ton of Canadians selling their American properties.
Their
US
Florida
properties.
Realtor, and he was showing all of the listings on the Realtor app.
Yeah.
And it was just saturated, like,
Oh, yeah.
unbelievable. I mean, I'm not familiar with that market, so I don't know how normal that is, but it looked crazy. Like, the competition is immense.
It'll be interesting to see if the Canadian dollar gains some strength.
It will.
I tend to believe it will because of the uncertainty in the U.S.
Yeah.
And, our gas prices, fuel now have come down quite a bit.
Yeah.
The interest rates are coming down. Like Trump may have actually helped us in some capacity from, stirring up.
I think it'll all play out.
The stuff.
It'll all
For
play
sure
out okay.
It will.
It's just a lot of people get so stuck in the moment they don't see the intention of like he's.
Well, he probably doesn't even know his intention.
No, he does. He's strategic. These are sales tactics.
Sure,
he's trying to get his way.
Yeah, he's a very good salesperson.
Yeah, and it'll work. It is working in some ways, but nobody knows how it'll play out. But hopefully, it'll be positive.
The thing that scares me, and I think the thing that scares a lot of people interested in buying and selling real estate, is that Trump is so erratic and impulsive. So you don't know one day to the next what's going to happen right now, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough to really have an educated conversation, or not one where I would feel overly confident. But I do feel like he's doing a lot of what he said he was going to do and the things that people voted him in for. So I don't think it should come as a big surprise.
Just going back to the townhouse conversation.
Yeah, you don't want to talk politics?
If you have a first-time home buyer,
yeah,
because we were talking about Georgetown, and
yeah,
I know in Georgetown, a lot of the townhomes have some sort of fee attached to it.
Yeah,
it's almost
there's not many condos or small townhouses. Like that price point's tough in that region.
Tough. Very, very tough. So if you're a first-time home buyer and you're looking at a townhome and it's actually a condo townhouse, so the fees are $300 a month. Now, you're representing this first-time home buyer. How are you counseling them when they say, "Oh, but Adrian, we don't want condo fees"?
Well, Jimmy and Susie, you can't afford a house without. That's probably the case, right? Like realistically, like if you don't buy this, you're not getting a house. But the angle I go is have to do my due diligence. So this is what I did with this particular one. He wasn't concerned about it, but I do my due diligence and get the status certificate and the rules and regulations and all this stuff, and find out, well, what does it cover? Because the fee is there because it covers certain elements of the building, perhaps, utilities, perhaps, and the other common elements like the road and parks and whatever. So you want to find out, what does it cover? Because when you own the house outright, which we've established is never actually the case, you have expenses. Like you and I, our houses are now 14 years old, and our roofs might last another year or two, but they need to be done. Our windows are towards the end of their life.
Doors.
You've replaced your air conditioner.
Appliances.
So there's, well, I mean, some of that stuff you're probably going to be responsible for in a condo townhouse anyways, but a lot of them cover windows, exterior doors, the roof. Those are big expenses.
But my point to that is, if you have a freehold where you're responsible for everything,
yes,
generally shit starts to break down all at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like once your appliances start going, your roof needs to be replaced, your windows need to be replaced. So it's just adding way more cost.
Yeah. So the first step is, as an agent, is I would confirm what's covered, because it could be right down to the grass gets cut.
And every condo covers something different.
Right.
Like,
and the problem is most agents don't even know, listing agents, right? They don't know. They just know the fee.
Windows are, you know how many times we would call, and especially on condo townhouses, but any kind of condo, and the listing agent has no clue if the windows are included in the condo fees, who's responsible for the air conditioning, who's responsible for if there is a leak or whatever.
Well, it's funny when you go look at, especially in buildings. So you go to if you look at a mid to high rise building, and you look at all the active listings, and you look at the specifications, every agent will have something different listed as far as like which utilities are included, who the property management company is. Like you never know what's correct.
And
so
as
you have
a realtor,
to do your due diligence.
As a realtor, don't go based off of somebody else's.
That's
listing.
what they do. They look at an old listing. Oh, okay, hydro's included.
Well,
All right,
the last time this was listed for sale 6 years ago, it included this, and this.
Well, last time I dealt with an agent who didn't do their due diligence, and they were also the owner. I helped a good client of mine buy a condo, and the water heater wasn't listed as rental, so I left it out. And we go to close, and turns out it is. And the seller had to pay, I think it was $5,000 to pay out the contract.
Yeah.
So my client came out ahead with an owned water heater.
Did you end up replacing yours?
I have it in the garage.
Oh,
I need someone to help me carry it downstairs.
Are you looking at me?
Yeah. But I've noticed you have like a bag of rocks on your driveway. What is it?
I don't know. I didn't bring it home.
So I'm thinking you're probably not going to help me carry the water heater downstairs if you haven't brought your bag of rocks in.
Yeah. Down one flight of stairs there. It should be okay.
Well, the guy said he was going to come back, but he never got back.
Do you have a strap like for...
like a dolly?
No. Like what they use for fridges.
No. I'm going to have straps for like tie downs.
You know what I'm talking about? How they carry a fridge into your house on a strap?
Yeah. Yeah, but those are specific. I don't have that.
No? So you're just planning on picking it up?
Well, I figured I'd find somebody to help me. Right. Alicia and I could do it. It's 200 pounds. I could take the bulk of the weight.
Yeah, I can help you.
Yeah, okay.
I'll help you with that.
You and I both throw our backs out.
That's true. Yeah, why don't you just pay somebody $50? Why don't you get Sylvia's son and one of his buddies?
I'm not paying somebody to do it. It's so easy. Because
Well, look at you. You were talking earlier about your brittle bones. And
I know. Listen, how are you ever going to live long and stay strong if you're not doing things on your own sometimes? I mean, gardening's great exercise.
What kind of gardening?
Pulling weeds, cutting grass, edging, like whatever. These are things you need to do to keep.
Those are the things that I love paying people to take care of for me because I don't want to deal with them.
All right, to each his own.
But you don't have to worry about...
Golf is good exercise. Walking. How many people in their 80s walking golf courses, right?
Yeah. The last time you golfed was when?
It was at least 2 years ago. And if I did then, it was once that year.
2 years ago, you didn't go golfing?
I did with you and Josh.
Yeah? That was 2 years ago?
2 or 3. Anyways, that was the last time I went. And that year I went just that one time.
Right. All right. So, well, we're going to get out a few times this year. The courses are starting to open up. So,
yeah. So the point of this podcast, to summarize it, is don't be deterred by condo fees. Just do your due diligence. It could be your only way into the market.
It's a good way to summarize it. So we'll end it there.
All right. Ciao.
Bye.
Thanks for watching this episode. If you got this far and you haven't already dropped us a like, please do so. Help us out and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next episode of the Real Estate Podcast. Thank you for watching.